that all of this is happening with amazing youth outside, and I'm thinking, what are some leadership capabilities of Gandhiji that really inspired you, that you have brought forth into the organization as well? Because we also want to connect it with leaders.
So in our organization, the purpose of our organization, see, this is you have to, I think, appreciate that Gandhiji's principles came actually from, according to me, from our scriptures.
Yes.
And I have no hesitation in saying that, irrespective of what people nowadays want to say. So therefore, our whole purpose of our organization, we say, is that doing well and doing good and making a positive difference to the world around us by living our values. So first of all, I believe that whatever we do in business has to do well. You have to perform well, because profit is the oxygen. You cannot survive without profit, and that is the only way you can do any philanthropic. So doing well, and that business should also do good. Similarly, in our philanthropic activities, it has to do well. If I don't measure impact, then I don't believe in just doing well and people happy. We have to measure. So it's doing well and doing good, making a positive difference. As I said, if you go for our scriptures, you will become a human being after millions of lives as lower organisms. And we are privileged to be human. We are privileged to be born in the families we do. We are privileged for the values we have. We are privileged for the education, the position that you have, the wealth you have, so you have to share it.
Beautiful.
So that is one concept. The values we also talk about, as I said, knowledge, so Gyan, action, karma, and bhakti. Knowledge, action, and care, which is really what is taught in Sanatana Dharma. So, and the whole concept of trusteeship. Who are we trustees of? So the difference in a trustee, as we explain, is there are three components in a trust. If you form a trust, one is a settler, one is the trust itself, the body, and one is the trustees, and the fourth is the beneficiary. So we believe that the settler is the Lord above. We believe we are trustees. The wealth that has been given to us. And the role of a trustee is to see that how I work for the benefit, so for the beneficiaries without any personal gain in it. So who are our beneficiaries? Our beneficiaries are our customers, our shareholders, our employees, and society. So how do we work in the best interest without keeping our interest in keeping that aside? So that whole concept of leadership, as I said, is being derived from our scriptures.
And in your opinion, it doesn't have to be on the record, but do you think this is practiced across your country?
So I'm going to just... We have seen it across, to say if everybody is not fair, but yes, we have 100 instances.
You see that.
And I've been able to establish, and that's a long lecture which I can speak somewhere else, that how values actually create economic value. It is not only nice to have, but they actually create economic value.
No, I'll tell you where I'm going. See, the typical belief, there are contrarian beliefs. One is that an organization is what its founder and the people who run it, everybody copies downwards, and that becomes the culture of the organization. And sometimes they may say something, but actually what happens below is not the same.
So again, in our definition of action, the one action, the value we talk about integrity, where there's alignment between thought, speech, and deed. And everybody in the world is too smart. You can act any way. I mean, I can give a long lecture, but if I act contrary to that, nobody will believe it. So we believe in that, and we try and do it. It's always a journey. It's not complete.
So, if you had to give youngsters, like your aspiring leaders and business leaders, what they could pick up from Gandhi's leadership and your own leadership.
So forget mine, but what do you pick up from Gandhi's leadership? As I spoke about the concept of trusteeship. I think there's another thing about Gandhi is about courage. I mean, to take on the might of the British Empire when India was weak and we thought that we were very weak. That requires courage. And in anything in life you have to have courage. I mean, I don't think you can succeed by... You have to take the tough road. You have to take the road less traveled, which is what Gandhi did. So I think that, to me, is the other thing. The third thing I think is that, his real... so his life was, as he says, his life was his whole book. I mean, you could see it. I think you have to live that. So this and I think, frankly, he was very deeply spiritual. That gave him a greater inner strength than anything else.
I was reminded by two people, Vipul Mehta and Jayesh Bhai in the ashram. I'm not sure if you know them. When you talked about the seva bhav, and this is what he normally says, aisa nahi karne ka, aisa karne ka. So he is one of the trustees of the ashram. You probably know him. Do you believe that love has anything to play in leadership? See, leadership is a very mind game. Normally people say this is normally management, but
love has to be there.
Has to be there.
I think human beings want love. At the end of the day, we all crave for love. And that is what builds the emotion. I find that very often, sometimes, when you have to connect with your own people, if you have love, then they connect more. Then it's not only a question of salary and all that. So that is the beyond. I think love also gives you joy, if you think of it.
I fully concur.
So therefore,
do you think it has any, would you,
of course,
in leadership, that means
yes.
You say that I should breed lead. If I'm a company leader and you say, come to me, you are going to say, you should create leaders who speak with love, act with love, do with love. Is that what you would say?
Love, you may act or not, but internally you have to feel love towards a person. I'm not going to hug somebody or keep saying I love you and all that, but internally you have to love, you have to like people, you have to love people.
So that's one of your lenses of love. I love it. Thank you.
I think it's beautiful because I can see in your own space that you have, there's tremendous compassion, love, space, and seva bhav in itself, which means it's permeating in the organization. There's no question about it. But even the question that he's asked is powerful because in this day and age, we deprive ourselves of love in environments where we spend most amount of our time, especially in workplaces. So I'd love to hear, how does it show up in the organization? It could be with the customer, it could be how one views, we don't need to be competitive, but we could do together. I don't know what form it might take.
In your philanthropic work, I'm familiar with the water work which you do. There's phenomenal stuff. There's obviously love. You could not have done it without love. But in an organization, we always have this thing of the tough sergeant.
You have to be. See, love doesn't mean you have to be weak. Or you don't have to be.
Not at all.
You have to be tough. So the work we do now, So my son always talks about we give loans for affordable housing. So people who have never had homes before, the only way they can, most of them can acquire homes is if you give a loan. So you are reaching out to those people, and the home is, we know the importance of home. To most people, it's the largest single investment and everybody wants to do it. So that is love. I mean, that you can do something. So doing well and doing good. When you're doing business, business is a force of good. If people keep recognizing that, not all do, that's fine, but our emphasis is always to say that how it is a force of good. So if you're doing pharmaceuticals, the right medicine, I mean, at the time of independence, what was our longevity? 34 years. Today we are 71. It's because of medicine having reached people. So there is a power in what you are doing, and if you recognize that it is beyond making money, money is very important. So you say that I won't make money and all, then you cannot survive. And as I said, money is the oxygen, but I don't live only on oxygen.
Beautiful. I love your metaphors.
Thank you.
Thank you. So very beautiful. I'll just add to that, that you can do the same thing with power and success as your barometer. But what I'm hearing from you, and I can see that you really know this is who you are, is that is not your barometer. Your barometer is exactly what you said: in trusteeship and love. Am I making an impact? Am I really making the medicine which matter to people?
Am I creating good?
I mean, there were only 10,000 of you in the country.
I'm sure there are many.
There are at least a few hundred. I have met at least 30, 40 of them, and I'm meeting more. But it's such a beautiful thing you said. So thank you so much.
Thank you for being you.
Thank you.
Thank you.